Got it.
Hello, Jenny.
John, you're sideways.
Oh, I am?
You are.
But that's how I have my phone sideways, so I can put in my thing.
Oh.
Is
there
that
you
better?
go. Yes.
That's the first time.
Do you
Okay,
have? Okay,
not funny, huh?
that is funny.
Okay, so what did I have for a question?
Mhm.
In the let me go back in. So in the part one, it has state agencies that their approval is required. And I know the New York State DEC, but I don't know NYSOPRMP. What does that mean?
Hang on a second. Is that on? That's on the seeker.
Yes, on page 2.
Okay, hang on. Oh shoot, I have the wrong thing. Read it again.
It's a whole bunch of state agencies here.
Right.
I just want you to tell me what that means. The one I don't know a couple of them. New York NYSOPRHP.
Office of Parks and Historic Preservation.
Okay.
I think that's right. NYSOPRHP. Yes, Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation.
Parks, Recreation, Historic. Okay, what about NYSDAM?
That one I don't know. Give me just a sec. I'm just Googling them.
Oh.
Department of Ag and Markets.
Oh, I knew that. Ag and Markets. And then it has a dash and an NOI. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with Ag and Markets. It seems like it's part of Ag and Markets.
NOI is a notice of intent.
Okay. What do you think that means?
I mean, that would be our letter that we're sending is the notice of intent, but that's
Right.
odd that it's attached to the name.
Okay. Okay, good. NYSERDA, New York State Energy, what? Energy.
ERDA is Energy Research and Development Authority.
Energy. And development. Okay, Ag Markets, and then, okay, so it looks like on this thing, are you looking at the application? Are you looking at the seeker now?
No, I have the resolution up because I need to read that. I don't have the other one up. I gotta find it.
That's
It
all
was
right. Don't
emailed to me.
do what you got to do.
No, I got it. It was emailed to me, so I have to find it. It was from Deb. Let's see. She sent so many emails, it's hard to keep track of.
No kidding.
It wasn't that one. It was this one. Okay, I have it all right here.
So these agencies, there's all dates here. Especially in the second column, application date. The DEC has December 2021. The Preservation Historic, what is that one? The Office of Parks, Recreation, Historic Preservation, October 21. Have we gotten anything from them? What does that October 2021 mean?
That I don't know.
Well, I wonder if I could ask Kayla to explain that.
Absolutely.
Okay, she
I
just
think-
called me, so she's ready to roll.
Yeah, if you have got any questions, I'd just ask her. I'm just gonna start letting in a couple of the members of the board.
Good.
There's Bill. There's Betsy. Who's
Okay.
the other one? I'm trying to think.
Ziggy.
Peggy. She's not in yet.
Okay.
MB, I don't know who that is. I'm just waiting for Ziggy to show up, and then as soon as we get her, I'll let everybody else in, or whenever you tell me to let everyone in, John.
Well, I'm fine. So I'm going to ask you to let my computer in now when I find the.
Yep.
find it. Okay, let me just find it. Some agenda.
Sherry Stone is on, and also a Sherry L. Stone. So it's probably her and her daughter. It's Sherry and Emily.
Right.
So just so you know, probably they're using the same name is all.
Yes, right.
So, hi, Betsy.
Hello, I'm trying to find another USB plug for my headphones, but you can probably hear me anyways.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I just have too many things plugged into my computer. Plus, you're not getting too much background noise. Doesn't seem to want to talk to my wireless headset.
Hey, Bets.
Hello.
So it's 7 o'clock. Do you want me to go ahead and let people in?
Oh, absolutely. Did you see my, has my computer come? Oh, here it comes. It should be coming now.
There it
Connecting.
is. Let me get
Okay.
that done first so we can make sure that it comes in properly.
Okay.
Oh, Betsy, I have to make you co-host. There.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Yep. So we should be all set. All right, I'm admitting everyone else. There's about 12 people coming in, just so you know.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I don't have a picture. How do I do picture?
Hi,
I just
everyone.
mute-
I'll just take a second to remind you all to mute if you're not going to be speaking. I think most people have it, but just a reminder. Thank you.
How do we do that?
Oh, Ziggy, you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Okay. Like,
You're
wait
on the
till my
board,
dogs
you're
bark.
okay.
Yeah, wait till
The
my
board-
dogs bark. Oh, yeah.
Well, until your dogs bark, if you
Yeah.
do need to mute, just hover over your picture and there's
Oh, there's a
button.
mute.
Now you're muted and I can't hear you.
Okay,
Great.
All right, everybody, we ready to go?
I believe so. We're recording, so we're good.
All right, so my name is John Casserly. Debbie Backus can't make it tonight. Doesn't feel very well. She might be listening in, but she's not planning on saying anything. All right, so I think the first thing we do is call this meeting to order and approve the minutes of our last meeting. So looked over the minutes. If you have looked them over, board.
yep.
Do you
Motion
want
to
to say
approve
anything about
minutes.
it?
So we make a motion, John? Motion to approve minutes
Yes.
as distributed?
Yes.
Second,
All in favor?
it looks like Pam is trying to say something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have a couple questions, but I had some dental work today and my jaw hurts. So I typed
Oh,
chat, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have approved the minutes.
Well, the questions are in regard to the minutes.
All right, what's the question?
Says developers are moving in the right direction with the access road means what exactly? And also,
Where
are
is
we?
that?
I had the minutes here. Hold on. I'm reading from her chat that she said. I'm just looking for my copy of the minutes.
I see, it's on page 2 at the top. It's from Bill Buchan. And he's in the correspondence with the developers and they're moving in the right direction to identify an access road with Cornell Cooperative Extension. So does anybody know any more about that? I certainly don't.
Actually, I don't, unfortunately.
my understanding was simply that rather than using the existing access road coming in from Boyden Brook Road, that they were going to come in from another direction. And that had to do with coming in from the property that is owned by Cornell Cooperative Extension. That's
I
all I know.
don't-
I don't know anything else.
I don't
That was
think
my
so.
understanding. No?
Because they'd have to come all the way up through our main farm to get there across our property. So I don't know. I honestly haven't heard anything
Betsy,
about it.
that looks like what they're actually doing is crossing over into that field on the site plans.
So we're on the call, if we can speak to that.
Oh,
Sure,
That'd
please.
be great.
Yeah, so we are proposing that we're going to run a path through the Cornell Cooperative's property, a parallel access road. So it's not really a new direction, but it is on a different parcel. And that is to avoid using any of the property of the Roses.
So the road in front of the Rose's house is not going to be used.
We are going to use the portion that's on the Cornell Cooperative's property, but when it gets to the Roses property, we'll not be using that, correct? We'll be turning. And that's on the latest site plan that was submitted. That site plan does have a lot of comments that are still being addressed per the site plan comments we got back from B&L recommendations. So I would say it's not a complete site plan at this time. It was only submitted to show that new access road.
Okay. Does that satisfy the question?
That's one question. If I can, John, I'll just read the rest of the next question. It
Sure,
says,
thank you.
are we correct in saying that the Chazen Group replied to B&L recommendations from June 10th on October 5th, 21? It says 4 months and reasoning. Just, I'm assuming what Pam, and you can nod if this is correct, you just mean the clarification for why it took 4 months? So again, that would be a Chazen question.
So Kayla Kibling has joined us tonight. Kayla, would you mind weighing in on that question?
Absolutely. Just to introduce myself, I'm Kayla Kibling. I'm one of the engineers working on the reviews for Barton and LaJudas. I work out of the Watertown office with John Condino. And I'm just covering tonight and to assist with, any questions throughout the part one review. Now, in regards to this question, I know we've received a response, and like Michael mentioned before, not all of our questions have been addressed, but as he noted, the purpose of that drawing was to show the new access road, which we have commented on. They have responded to that letter solely in regards to the comments we had in for the part one seeker. So to answer that question, they have replied to some of the questions, not all of them yet.
Okay,
And then
What-
there was one other question in regards to the minutes. And John, this is up to you, but I can probably answer this question if you'd like me to.
please do.
It says, when Jim asked to get the new information, we were told you would check and get back to us. We did not hear anything and knew the meeting was coming up quickly. It states post-meeting determined that a FOIL request must be submitted. Can I please ask why no one contacted us? Our consultant thankfully advised us to do this. The reason that was actually added to the minutes after the FOIL request was determined to needed to happen. So it's not like we knew the FOIL request needed to come and then it was submitted, we didn't know ahead of time. I added that later just to clarify the minutes. But we found out kind of things at the same time as you did, Pam. I was working through it with Karen in the town office, and Deb, again, this is all new, so just trying to figure out the processes and everything. And we had to contact Bill Buchan to get that information. So I'm sorry, John Condino. I can't remember which one we talked to. I get them mixed up in my head, but we did work through that with them, and we just all happened to learn at the same time that that's what was going on.
So
And what
you guys hadn't found anything out until I came in and did the FOIL then? You hadn't asked anybody or found out any information yet?
I had been talking to people, but I hadn't gotten an answer yet. We
Mhm.
were still trying to figure out what the process was.
Okay, thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you and Karen getting that information to us Friday.
You're welcome.
Any
And
other
that's all the
questions?
questions from the chat.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, Ziggy,
Second.
thank you. Second?
Yes,
And
I'll
then a-
second.
Vote.
Okay, Betsy, thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so motion passes. And now we have to just do one thing with this, with these minutes. We have to rescind a part of it. It's on page 2. It's, we were premature our last meeting in trying to designate ourselves as the lead agency for the Route 11 solar project. So a motion to approve a resolution was made by Ziggy and it was seconded by me. And I think we should rescind this, take it out. And Ziggy, you need to.
We just need to
re-
withdraw the motion. Can we do that? Or do we?
Yes.
I don't know the correct wording.
Yes,
Rescind or
Rescind
withdraw,
or
yes, Siggy.
Withdraw.
rescind, yes.
Okay, then I will withdraw that motion.
And I will withdraw my second. I think, do we need approval of the rest of the board? Jenny?
No,
No.
you're all set.
Okay. Excellent.
All right,
Thank-
we're all done. We're all done with the minutes. All right, so our next, the next item on the agenda is a home occupation request from Emily Stone. And it's about making part of her house into a beauty salon, I believe.
Mhm.
So Emily, and I think Mom Sherry is also there. Would you want to say something about this? And this is also after you introduce this project, we have a public comment for people to comment on this. So Emily or Sherry, please.
Don't forget to unmute yourself.
Okay, there you go. We got it unmuted. Okay, here Emily is with me. This is a room that we want to renovate in the house. It's a normal bedroom that we want to put in a salon for her. This would be nothing, it's not going to be a humongous salon. It's just a one chair salon for her and what customers that she brings in. She used to work in an actual salon, but the amount of hours that she can stand on her feet isn't plausible. She has some back issues. And so for most salons, they want 40 hours a week. She's really not capable of doing that. So this was kind of a resolution that she could still continue to do her trade, be able to make her earnings. And so it was kind of a win-win situation that we thought about.
Okay. Anything else on that?
I don't think so unless anybody has some questions for us. I mean, she's been cutting hair since what, when did you graduate?
I think I've been cutting hair since 2015 or 16.
Okay,
It was like right after I graduated, kind of.
So in our code, it says a salon can't be more than 500 square feet, and it can't be more than 25% of the first floor area.
okay,
satisfied with that?
we did some measuring and the square footage of the whole house is 1,344 square feet. The one room is 110 square feet.
Okay,
So you're talking that would be under the guideline.
great.
Yes.
All right, so it looks like everybody else on the board, this is, I'm looking at our rules on this 7063 home occupation. And, so board first. I don't see anything here that would deny the approval. Does anybody else?
Oh, and you said it was, Sherry, you said it was one chair. So
Yes,
number of people coming in and the parking and all that would be very minimal.
very minimal.
Okay,
She would only have one person at a time.
okay,
Right.
And it would not be a constant stream all day. This would be just kind of like in between when her child is at home and that type of thing. So
Okay.
I don't think you're going to see much of a influx of traffic compared to what we have that goes by now on our road. At this point right now, in case anybody wants to know, as far as signage, we would not be putting anything in the lawn. The only thing that we would like to do is by the entrance door, we would like to have a sign made that's only like 12 by 12. That would just indicate her salon name, the phone number,
And what door to go in.
and, maybe it might be by appointment,
Okay.
she's not going to at this point, offer walk-ins.
No.
got it.
12 inches by 12 inches is certainly within the code.
Yes. Okay,
So let's put this out to the public. Is anybody on this at this meeting want to make a comment?
Silence might be golden.
Okay. So do we need a motion for this? I think we do.
I'll make a motion that we approve this.
I second.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that passes. I think that what you need to do now is get a permit and get in contact with the code enforcement officer, and you're off to the races.
Well,
And
thank
good
you very
luck.
much. We
Thank
appreciate it.
Yes.
Good luck in your
small
good luck in your
business.
business.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Good luck.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much. thank you.
How do we leave? the meeting? Oh, right here.
All right, so next item on the agenda is dealing with the seeker part one of the Mead Road project. All right, so I've got to try my computer skills here and get this thing up. And then after we review this, we need to approve a resolution of a letter of intent and to declare ourselves a lead agency and send this to all the interested parties that we have a list of from Barton and LaJudas. All right. So does Betsy, do you have the part one up there?
I think so.
So I don't think this is
I'm
going to
not
take
sure
a
which
ton
thing
of,
is.
I don't
which,
think it's going to
just
take a
one.
lot of time, but I want to go through it and not read every single thing. And at the end of each page, people are welcome to comment on it.
Is this what you were looking for, Tom or John?
No, this is part
Mm,
one. This is the, it's right next to it, right next to that.
I know in your email, but not on my computer. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
This might be it over here. Nope, that's the same thing.
I have it if you'd like me to share it real quick.
Yeah, I have the letter, or I have the list of parties, but I don't seem to have, I had it, but I can't seem to get it up on share.
Here, I
So
got
go
it.
ahead, Jenny.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. I did have that up somewhere. It didn't show up.
Okay, let's go through this. I'm gonna read the brief description. The applicant, US Light Energy, is proposing the construction of a 7.489 megawatt direct current solar farm, ground-mounted photovoltaic or PV system on a portion of approximately 54.8 acre parcel located on the Mead Road in the town of Canton, St. Lawrence County, New York. Project area is undeveloped. The northern portion is treed and the remainder is used as an agricultural field. The proposed solar array will be located on the southern portion of the parcel in the existing field. Minimal tree clearing required. The remainder of the site will be left undeveloped. Site access provided from an existing private access drive southeast of the proposed array. So that we just heard about. That's going to be a little change there, I imagine, because it's not going to be that existing private access drive. Is that correct?
That is sort of correct. Actually, to just information wise, that road you're talking about, the existing private drive, that was actually a road that was abandoned by the town. And that's what took us 4 months. We were researching that, and by law, half of that road is split between the two landowners, the Cornells and the Roses. So half of that existing road actually is on Cornell cooperative property. And that is the easement we are seeking from Cornell Cooperative on the eastern side of that road,
Okay.
to construct our access road to our property through their property.
Okay. All right, thanks for that. The proposed action will involve approximately 33.75 acres of physical ground disturbance, including installation of panel poles, utility line trenching, equipment pads, entrance, access roadway, mass grading, lay down areas, and limited tree clearing. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has determined that solar panels do not constitute impervious surface for stormwater management purposes. In addition, the project will utilize a DEC approved pervious roadway section. As such, proposed action will result in 0.1 acre of new impervious area. Okay, so here's some sponsors and addresses of people, property owner. All right, so that's the first page. Any comment on that at all? Okay. I'll
I
move
guess
on to-
I do.
I'm
Can I
sorry.
comment or am I not able to comment?
Oh, yes, please.
I still think there's discrepancy on an existing road. Everybody says existing road. And I thought Eric Gustafson was going to rule on that, and we haven't heard anything on that. If it isn't the existing road, and they're talking about taking half of it, we looked at getting the municipal offset definition for a driveway or commercial driveway, whatever you're going to call it, from the town code enforcement. I'm not sure if they reviewed that, and to have that municipal offset applied to that driveway, because they're looking at removing a swale area, which basically the drainage from the Mead Road down through into that wetland, which if they put the road in at a higher grade, potentially could flood the Roses property and the business there out.
Does anybody, Kayla, would you like to comment on that, or Chazen, would you like to comment?
So this is Bill Sparkman from Chazen. I mean, we haven't gone through the detailed design of the access road as it comes off of Mead Road, traverses the existing access drive through the Cornell Co-op property, and then kind of makes its way south of the Roses and into the Brewers property. But as Ed identified, you know, there is an existing drainage swale that we would be kind of intersecting, but we would do, you know, our due diligence to make sure that that, you know, drainage swale is rerouted. We would not propose any kind of extensive change in the topography of that area to get the road in. It's fairly flat. There's not a whole lot of, you know, grading that would need to be done. So, you know, I imagine there'd be very minimal impact to the drainage that is going to be, you know, that's already present. And as we mentioned, you know, in the description of the project, the section of the road that's being used, you know, the vertical section, you know, the improvements for the road is considered pervious, which means that rainwater, you know, when it hits the surface, will be allowed to, you know, seep into the roadbed and kind of, you know, continue on its way. So there shouldn't be any, you know, large amounts of, you know, runoff associated with this new road. So, I mean, obviously that'll all be, you know, well spelled out in the site plan updates that, you know, we are undertaking, which will be submitted for the next planning board meeting, whereby we will address all of B&L's comments.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, Bill.
John, I have.
Go ahead, please.
Comments on that.
Thank you.
After living here for 40 years, I definitely know the drainage and the runoff. The swale drainage comes off the Mead Road, and it's pretty extensive in the summer, or sorry, the spring when the snow melts. And the way they have this proposed, it's not going to work. You can't just reroute that swale drainage that's been there for years and years.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of concerned with how we can move forward with passing or voting on this form when the stuff is not even clarified yet. They don't, I guess, and they don't have anything in writing from Cornell yet. Everybody that I've talked to at Cornell has no knowledge of this.
Okay. Bill, you want to say something about that?
I'll chime in here on behalf of the project. We have been in discussions with Cornell, and we've forwarded all the communications that we have to the town attorney. So I would encourage the town attorney to weigh in on the matter.
And I'd like to make a statement just for this, like this seeker review. I mean, we're not making any determinations on this. This is just to say that this application is complete, it's filled out with all the project information. Then it would be disseminated to the other agencies, state agencies, so they can provide comment on the project. So this form is nothing more than a, you know, package to send out to get comments. So this is not the end all be all. This is the beginning to address comments from other agencies.
Right.
But if it's not right up front, how can you send it out to the other agencies? If you don't know about the access road and the municipal offset for a driveway or commercial access, And the swale, if you've got to go 15 feet over from the Rose's land, then you're gonna add another 16 feet of roadway. You're gonna be 30, 35 feet over in the Cornell, and they may not be aware of that.
Yeah, but that doesn't come into effect here because this is about an environmental review. What you're talking about is stuff that's going to get hashed out by the town and BNL, the engineering review officer or agent, and discuss this on the town's behalf and for them to make the correct determination. If they want to go to the local NRCS and whatever to discuss the swale, they're open to do that. But this is to get the ball rolling and to get those agencies involved to have a discussion. And
So
that's
you-
why we're having this right now. So if those issues do come up, these people have a chance to discuss them, address, and we have an opportunity to address them and mitigate for any potential impacts.
But if Cornell isn't aware of the potential impact, how can they accurately provide approval or, do an assessment?
Well, Cornell's just going to give us an easement. If Cornell gives us an easement on their land, they're a private landowner. I just have to address the drainage, for which the drainage is not a private landowner issue. It's a FEMA issue or a state or local floodplain issue. With drainage and local drainage issue with the existing ditches and stormwater outflow. So
I guess I'm saying,
this is
it a
neither or.
15-foot easement, or is it going to be a 30-some foot easement?
No, my easement's going to be, what is it, Mike? 18 feet?
Correct.
18 feet wide.
That's not counting the municipal offset. You could, it should be 18 feet, but it could be 30 feet over.
I'm still on their land. I'm on private land. I'm not on public property or anyone else's
We're
property.
both saying yes. What I'm saying is if the municipal offset from the property line is 15 feet, that road that's going to be on Cornell's is going to be 15 feet to 31, 32 feet.
Can I chime in for just a moment? I actually tried calling the code enforcement office, which I know you don't have when you were in the process of voting in. I also emailed them and I haven't heard back. Jim, can you? Thank you. Asking them what the setbacks are for driveways and or commercial access roads, because I couldn't find anything in the codes. I think that's what he is referring to is you're going partway up the driveway on Cornell's, then you're cutting over into Cornell's field, and the codes are the setbacks and then the drainage as well. So it's not just an 18 road or whatever it is, it's that plus the setback.
So I'm sorry, but your existing road abuts the Cornell property. So what's your setback off of them?
You're assuming that there is a road. We've been
In our
made aware of a road.
There's no road, it's our driveway.
So you're saying you own the whole driveway,
We own our part of the driveway. We
which is what? How much of that existing path access road?
I
How
don't
much
have
of
that
that?
in front of me, but we own.
Okay. Would you say that you own the whole improved area? Would you say
No,
that you
no.
own the whole
We've
improved area?
always done the work on the driveway. We've maintained it, we've gravelled it, we've done everything. Part of
So
it is-
have you had a civil survey done on it?
May I finish, please? Okay, if I finish? They own part of the road which we cross, then it comes to our land, which is our business, then it comes to our land, which is our home. And you're talking about going beside our business land and our homeland, which is our driveway, not a public road. It's never been a public road.
If you look at the deeds, we do own right to Cornell's property. That's the way it's been surveyed.
Yeah, I think that we're an acknowledgement of that as well, but the road you're referring to is right on the property line, the same as we're proposing. Essentially, a couple feet off there.
The beginning of it is, but the rest is our driveway.
Isn't there commercial business on the property as well?
Part of it, yes, and owned by us.
Yes,
With an
but it's
offset
still,
from Cornell. They have an offset, a municipal offset on their property.
on that property to the driveway.
Yeah, our driveway is offset from Cornell the way it's supposed to be.
So I would appreciate some input from the town on this, but I also would like some comment possibly from Kayla or Bill on the purpose of this, because we're asking to circulate for lead agency. So that does not preclude if something were to change in the future, the ability to edit this, correct?
Yes, no, I don't mean to intercede. I just, the purpose of this meeting, my understanding is to review the part one. And the purpose of the part one is to address or, identify any major issues in relation to, the presence of potential wetlands, threatened and endangered species, archaeologically sensitive areas of the project site. This in no way, at the end of this meeting, if the resolution goes through, we are just seeking, the town is seeking intent of lead agency, which would start the 30-day time clock. And this does not have any, it's part of the site plan submission, but that's separate at this point, and that can happen in concurrence. And, PNL has comments out, and part of those comments has has to do with many of the Rose's concerns. So believe me, on behalf of the town, we are asking these questions as well. And however, today, those, don't really concur with what we're trying to do as we're looking through the part one. But yes, as Michael mentioned, they are working on a site plan. I'm sure they're working on the access drive issue. So, at this point, those plans that were provided, those aren't final, those are working. And we understand that, and we have comments out that are still outstanding. But for the purpose of the part one, it's our recommendation that the part one substantially complete, and we're reviewing this with the planning board in case questions come up and we can, discuss them, but in relation to what's on these forms.
Okay,
John, I have another question.
please, Jim.
When you started off, it says now that it's a 7.4 megawatt and it started out as a 5.
Well, that's what it, whatever. That's what
Sorry,
it said.
that's the DC rating. It's a 5 AC.
Okay, good. Okay,
Okay.
But
Jim,
for just for information purposes, NYSERDA goes by DC rating. That's why we typically put DC rating.
okay.
Okay.
So, we're not gonna resolve this water issue right now. We have to move this, I don't know, who has a suggestion on how this gets resolved?
Just sorry, John, to interrupt, just a
Go
side
ahead,
note.
please.
We do have comments out to the applicant in regards to their SWIP. We review a SWIP that's, that's very crucial to these site plans. One of the requirements by DEC is the runoff post construction cannot be increased over pre-existing runoff rates.
Mhm.
So that is something that we've asked for clarification in the SWIP. Those documents have been reviewed and they are being, I'm assuming the applicant is in the process of revising those and providing the information that we're looking for, but we are reviewing that. We understand that runoff is a concern in this situation.
Right. Okay. Jim and Pam, are you good with waiting for the SWIP to happen and continuing from there to negotiate on this?
So, John, just for clarification, I thought that after you went through this seeker form, that you were going to vote to approve it.
We're like Kayla says, this is the process. We want to move it to the interested parties for their comments and designate us as a lead agency. I think that's all. I'm pretty sure that's what I understand. That's where we're going here with this. And
Yes,
BNL has approved, has said that everything on this is good with them. But I can understand that they're not on the ground. They're not there. They don't notice the water. They don't see a big rain and what happens. I get that.
All right. So that's what the other thing I had concerns that the seeker form has changed a lot from what B&M has asked for. I mean, they just jump in the computer, make changes to satisfy the corrections on the form is what the lawyer is looking for. Because some of the stuff doesn't even make sense from what they first originally had to what the changes are to now. Especially with them not putting foot on the ground, you know, and understanding the lay of the land and animals, plants, and all that.
Caleb, would you like to speak to that?
Well, so this is typically with these full forms here. It is automated on a desktop, and you know, some of the questions are spit out automatically based on what is provided on the DEC's website and in their database. You know, a lot of times that's when the applicant initially there might be a red flag if something's checked yes, and it could be a potential issue. We also, you know, part of B&L's review is we go through this as well. We've commented twice already on this part one, based on our research. And we've also, you know, there are a couple comments where we're still asking for correspondence from, for example, SHPO, for archaeological, you know, documentation. And part of, you know, this part one here is you're just trying to identify if there could be potentially any major issues. It doesn't mean that's the end of it. A lot of times we ask for a little more clarification, and we have done so through our comments, and we'll continue to do so throughout the site plan application.
Do the Roses get to comment on this officially? Make a comment to go into the to your consideration?
I mean, that's, you know, John's been attending the meetings. I know I've read meeting minutes in the past. You know, absolutely, we want to hear your comments as well. So, you know, any concerns you have, that's why you're here to comment on that.
Okay. Jim? Pam?
Well, I guess I mean, I kind of to the scope of this because I feel like the road needs to be revised. Page one should be revised, and no, our objection, because I don't feel like the information is completely, that Cornell possibly may not know what they're going through because they're going over onto their property. We still have to determine the setback, which I believe we have the right to a setback, which pushes them further over. And it is cutting through more wetland and some trees to get to Mr. Brewer's property.
Okay, so, well, can we move on and consider that a concern? No, it's noted in the minutes. Okay. All right, let's go to page 2. Basically, government approvals and a bunch of different state agencies are weighing in, and they will all get letters of intent from us after this is approved. Anybody have a question on that? The agencies? Comment? Okay. Planning and zoning.
John, can I say one thing in this? Since
Yes.
we just got this stuff Friday, we printed it all off, printed everything to size, and we are trying to look through everything. This alone, which Jim and I haven't been able to go through together, I compared the old one to the new one. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of variations. Some I have questions on, but we haven't been able to completely review it. So I hope that everybody's looking at the changes, what it was versus now, and questioning that information too, please.
Can you give us one example of what you're talking about?
One example, and I don't have it in front of me, but not verbatim because I don't have it. When they first turned this report in and you're under, I don't even remember the wording, but endangered species and all that type of stuff. One plant they listed fell within that stuff. There was a shell type animal that's not even native to this area that, like, they just threw stuff in, I felt like the first time. Now it basically, the wording is just native to this area. So it makes me wonder how much of an actual review was done.
I would just
But
like
the,
to,
go
sorry,
ahead.
I would like to state for the record that we've done extensive due diligence on this property, including having professionals perform wetland walkovers and visit the property. So this was prepared by a professional
When was that done, Mike? When did they walk the land and do that?
I don't have the dates available in front of me, but they were walked on the property. We did have the property examined. Full survey has been performed, full wetland assessment's been performed.
In the October 2020, you listed endangered species. So when they walked through it, did that species die or something?
This is Bill Sparkman from Chazen. There seems to be a little bit of discrepancy on how these forms are prepared and handled. I think has been mentioned a couple of times for a couple of different people. This is basically a screening document that the town and its consultant use to assess the project and to distribute the information to the concerned parties at the state and local level. This is not, when people use the word approve the document, this is not a secret determination going to be made today. Basically, the town is basically going to assume its role as lead agency, which, we assume, I think rightfully so, that they will, have. I don't think any of the concerned agencies are going to take lead agency here. So basically, this is an important administrative step. We want, we and you all should want this project to be disseminated to the group so they can provide their comments as well. This is integral to the environmental review process, that the state, has, included in law. So when we're looking at this, it's at this form, really, that's the mindset, you want to be kind of looking at. And so as consultants, which we, perform many of these forms, we go through all the relevant databases. We, go through all of our due diligence, but a lot of this stuff is broad level, right? And we're really just trying to identify, with the pertinent, databases and our own, expertise in the field, what kind of, impacts, we expect the project to have. And, we circulate the information to the agency so they can provide their concurrence or they can provide their objections and comments. So that's really, all this is for. As Kayla mentioned, this is an iterative process. If we receive comments back, from the agencies that need to be addressed, we will do so. We have addressed a number of BNL's comments, and they are also experts in the field, and we have addressed their comments on this form. And, we'll go from there. And obviously, a lot of the issues that we're talking about in terms of site plan approval, they'll be addressed, concurrently with the secret process. A lot of these kind of questions that are being discussed at this meeting kind of fall within that purview. So I know it's tough to kind of, break apart the two avenues of thought, the environmental review part and the site plan approval part. But I think we maybe need to kind of steer it that way. I mean, I don't want to, interject too strongly on that front, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents out there.
I'm sorry
you,
if
Bill.
I'm sorry if that's the way that you took that. My question was actually to the town of whether or not they compared them and they looked at the differences and would bring their own questions up. That it wasn't for you to clarify that. I was asking the town that.
I don't think the town at this point can reply to that question.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that, John. I mean comparison from the old to the new and the differences and what they are. And then when the old one, we turned in a lot of information on the old one, and which I assume has helped some of these changes for the new one.
Okay. All right. So that's all noted in the minutes. Thank you, Pam. Okay, can I move on here? Planning and zoning. Most of these are no. Do any municipality have a comprehensive land use plan? And that's a yes. And but our comprehensive plan include any specific recommendations for the site, and that's a no. Okay, the rest are no. Well, here's a yes here. Is the proposed action located wholly or partially within an area listed in an adopted municipal open space plan? Yes. And the site parcel is located within a county agricultural district, number 2. All right, any comments on that?
I'd just like to know, the reasoning for that question primarily is just to identify, is there additional agricultural, interested agency that needs to be contacted?
And they are an interested
Yep.
agency.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you, Kayla. Okay, page 3, zoning. We have the first one is a yes, the site proposed located in a municipality would adopt the zoning law ordinance. And it's a yes, and it's zone rural. And is the use permitted or allowable by a special use or conditional use permit? Yes. Okay, so we have a no here. Was the zoning change requested as part of the proposed action? No. All right, so existing community services, the school district is Canton Central School, the Canton Police Department, Canton Fire and Rescue, and the parks that are nearby are Taylor Park, Prairie Mill State Forest, Canton Park, Glen Mill State Forest, Taylor Creek State Forest. Okay, on the same page, project proposed and potential development. Okay, the general nature. Okay, it's a solar facility. It's going to take the total acreage is 54.8 acres. The area that the collectors are going to be put on is 33.75 acres. Total acreage is 54.8 acres. And got a bunch of few no's here. Proposed action, an expansion of existing project, no. Is a proposed action a subdivision? Nope. Okay, it's not going to be done in multiple phases. There's a 6-month time of construction. Any comments on that?
Sean, I have questions that are concerns that I had sent several maps showing that the cleared field that they're putting his panels in is a lot less than the 33.75 acres. But yet this number still stands.
Mike, are you going to address that?
This is Bill. I'm sorry,
yeah,
what was that
please do.
comment?
That I think Jim said the 33 acres, I think you said it was less, you think it's less than 33 acres, Jim, right?
Oh, definitely. And that it would have to incorporate more tree clearing than what they've proposed.
I mean, all I can say is that the values that we show on the form, have been vetted by us. These are accurate numbers.
Okay, so we don't have a surveyor on the Zoom call here, so we just have to take that as that the truth from Chazen, and B&L also felt it was the truth.
Yeah, and Chazen surveyors did obviously survey the site. So we do have an accurate land map. Obviously, when we lay out the array and we calculate the disturbances for the purpose of this form, I mean, we're calculating these things accurately. So, I mean, even given it just a rough eyeball, I mean, 33.75,
Yes.
acres of the property. The northern portion of it is going to remain wooded. We do identify the acreage of the trees that we're going to be removing as part of the northern part of the array. All those numbers have been quantified in this form.
Okay. All right, move on to page 4. Okay, what we got? We got basically it's going to 1,092 structures, 9 feet high, 11 feet 9 inches width, and 29 feet 3 inches length. Next one is a no. We're talking about an impoundment of liquids. So they're saying they're not going to impound any liquids. Project operation, excavation, to any extent, dredging, mining, no. And then so there's the rest of these questions don't apply because it's a no. And then the last one is proposed action. It's going to result in an alteration of increase or decrease the size of or encroachment to any existing wetlands, and that's a yes. And then they qualify this proposed solar panel racking and fencing will be placed in wetland area designation B, over which the Army Corps of Engineers has jurisdiction. A gravel access road will be installed traversing wetland A, which is also under Army Corps of Engineer jurisdiction. Any comments?
With the wetlands, where the, I think it's B wetland, the federal wetland, where they have the arrays down there. It talks about alteration. If you put the array on there and the solar panels are 5 degrees Fahrenheit higher, won't that dry out that wetland? And don't you have to, should that be referenced here just so people are aware of it?
I'm sorry, Ed, what is the mechanism that the wetlands are being dried out by?
With the solar panels, the temperature are usually 5 degrees. I think it's 2.5 degrees Celsius, which is roughly 4.5, 4.8 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than the air temperature. So if it's mowed and it's knocked down, the wetland that's there under the grass where it's not mowed, basically is going to be hotter, and actually will that dry that wetland out?
I mean, I have to say that's the first I've ever heard of anything like that. Mike, do you guys have any kind of inclination on the change in temperature? Is it like
No, I was gonna
ambient
ask him the
temperature?
science behind that. We've
Yeah.
done this installation on other areas with small portions of the project being in a wetland before and gotten approval from the Army Corps for the same exact thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I
not
think
to
it's
mention
first
that
we've heard of
not to mention that the breeze beneath the panels would have a cooling effect as well, because it would direct air underneath them. Also, wetlands aren't just fueled by surface water as well, you know, as groundwater sometimes. So no, we've never run into that issue. And the Corps of Engineers has approved that solar panels can be placed in wetlands. It doesn't consider the foundations an impact. So that's kind of where we stand on that, and how the industry has been operating in New York
I have
since
a
the
quick
inception.
question. I have a quick question in regard to that. The approval that you have, when you first gave that in, I believe it's still the same one that I've seen, is like a generic one, basically, that says they're okay to go in wetlands. It's my understanding when you deal with Army Corps of Engineers and disturb wetlands, that they typically make you recreate the disturbed area 5 to 10 times as close proximity as possible once you do that. Is that not true?
No, that's incorrect. Typically, let me give you, I'm a professional wetland scientist, so let me give you a breakdown. So if we're less than 1/10 of an acre of impacts, we don't have to mitigate, and we're going to go under a nationwide permit 51, which is for solar panel installation. So as long as we're less than 1/2 an acre of impacts, we can file for the nationwide permit 51. Less than 1/10 of an acre, like I was saying, does not require mitigation. And mitigation is never 5 to 10. It at the most is 3 to 1 ratio. The Corps' highest level is 3 to 1. At this time, yes, everything we're going to be doing, all the wetland permitting will be done under Corps guidelines or regulations. And the wetlands are the non-DC the DC wetlands are DC purview. We all know that, but the Corps wetlands are under their purview, so they will issue permits for those impacts. They have jurisdiction over them, and that's who we go through and do our permitting with.
I'm sorry, what did you say was under 1 acre, Jack?
1/2 an acre, 1/10 of an acre. See, we're less than 1/10 of an acre of fill, so we don't have to mitigate.
Now, is that including the wetlands that you're putting the solar panels in, and the wetlands now crossing from Cornell's little swampy area there when you're moving over on their property?
The panels are not considered impacts because the Corps has determined that the foundations are not fill. They're also temporary because of the life of the project's 25 to so many years more with extensions. So this is all based on Corps guidance and Corps purview. All that stuff, it's available on their website. It's very, very, very high convoluted in the weeds at times.
But you,
But that's kind of that's how they address all this.
you're saying, right now, you're saying less than a half acre, but your drawing.
No,
says-
less than a tenth. I'm saying less than a tenth.
But your drawing says 0.7 of an acre.
Where
The
did you see
road?
that? Well, those are that's not permanent. This is a permanent impact. Less than a tenth of a permanent impact, not a temporary impact.
I don't
It
know.
has to be a permanent loss of wetlands, and that requires like forever. So, those
Isn't the water, you go over onto Cornell's now and go through like that little tree swampy area. How much acreage is that, I guess, is my question. Because that's
and
new,
that's
that's new to the
That is where
project.
most of the disturbance occurs, the permanent disturbance that Zach talks about. It's not much. I mean, the road that traverses through the area that's been delineated is less than a tenth of an acre.
So I guess what we're
Okay.
saying, Bill, is the panels have no impacts. That tenth of an acre is the road, right?
Correct.
Okay. Sorry, I got confused, caused confusion there.
All right, I'm going to move on to page, I think this is page 5. There's more wetland.
Yeah, John, I got one more question on the wetland.
Sure.
I'm not sure, their drilling company never drilled in the wetland area. So you got like 6 acres approximately that you don't know what the substance base is going to be. So I'm not sure how you can put rackings and panels and stuff that was never tested and know what you're up against.
Okay, we can answer that as well. Down during the in our submittal process and during this review, we do get geotech studies done, and racking companies are able to, they do adjust their design based on the geology in that area. We've done this across the state on numerous projects. So they are able to, and we have constructed in wetlands on how many projects, Mike? Can you say?
At least 3. And I would also
Yep.
say too, that we have another layer of approvals for a building permit that will include a
Yep.
structural analysis and racking drawings. And I really hope that we can focus on the purpose of this discussion tonight, which is to progress it to circulate for lead agency, intent to take lead agency. This is not an approval. There's a lot more discussion on the project. I really think we should be focusing on this part 1 and its completeness to circulate to the lead agencies or involved agencies. Kayla, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. This has also been reviewed by the town engineer.
Yeah, we reviewed this, and the purpose of this section here is to identify what work is going to be proposed within the wetland areas. And, obviously it's identified that the Army Corps will need to review this. They are identified as a interested and involved agency. That's the purpose of this section here. And we've reviewed that, with the site plans and made sure that there is a description here to describe that. And, that's just saying there's further work to do and review by the Army Corps, but that it will be in the process because it is in this section.
Thanks, Kayla. All right, the next page has more on wetlands. Solar panel racking and fencing foundations will be placed in the wetland area. The Army Corps of Engineers does not view installation of such foundations as a disturbance in its jurisdictional areas. The gravel access road crossing wetland will fill less than 1/10 of an acre. The Army Corps of Engineer nationwide permit will be obtained for this activity. And then V5, wetland reclamation will be conducted in accordance with Army Corps of Engineer regulations and requirements. All right, will the proposed action create new demand for water? No, and then, these are all okay here. Liquid wastes, no. And then will the proposed action use an existing public wastewater treatment facility? Well, that's all no. All right, so any further comments on that page, on page 5? Okay, page 6. continues with on the no area, so these don't apply. And we have a yes, will the proposed action disturb more than 1 acre, create storm water runoff? So we've been talking about this. So how much impervious surface will the project create in relation to the total size of the project parcel? Talking about 1/10 of an acre out of 54 acres. So describe new types of new point sources, none. And the stormwater will run off, be directed, where will it, on site surface water wetlands? So this wetland business, I guess we'll have to continue to address this. If to surface water identify receiving bodies of water, so on-site wetland. Does anybody want to comment on that still? Okay, proposed minimized, does the proposed plan minimize impervious surfaces, use impervious materials, or collect and reuse stormwater? Yes, it does. And then proposed action include or will include on-site sources of air emission, including fuel combustion, waste incineration, process of operations. So we're going to have service and maintenance vehicles there, mobile, let me see, mobile sources during project operation. That is heavy equipment, fleet or delivery vehicles. So it says here, service and maintenance vehicles, and stationary sources during construction, emissions from construction vehicles. All right, no, there's not going to be anything there, stationary sources during operation that are going to emit, according to this, process emissions, large boilers, electrical generation. Will their emission sources named require any New York State air registration? No. And then, so these don't apply. And this no, because that's the end of page 6, but this no continues H, and then I and J. They're all come under this no. So now we're at the end, and the existing operations, 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the evening, and then on Monday through Friday, and also Saturday. All right. So any comments on that? All right. So that was now on to page 8. We have a yes. Will the proposed action produce noise that will exceed ambient noise levels during construction? Temporary noise that exceeds local ambient levels may occur during construction, but will be limited to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday during construction period. Noise operation will be reduced by inverters and transformers during daylight hours. Operational noise would not exceed ambient noise levels at the nearest receptors. So there was a noise study already done, I believe. And will the proposed action remove existing natural barriers that could act as noise barriers? Yes. Project will require removal of approximately 2.9 acres of trees. Will the proposed action have outdoor lighting? No. So these are no's. We got a bunch of no's. Proposed action involve require management or disposal of solid waste? No. So everything here is no at the end of page 8. Does anybody want to comment on anything here? Okay. All right, page 9. We're not going to have a solid waste management facility here. So that's a no. And all right, so it goes no until we get to part E, site and setting of proposed action. It's going to be forest, agriculture, and rural. And then it gives a land use and cover types on the project site. And it scopes this out. Does anybody have a problem with this? Comments? Okay. Okay, page 9. Getting down to the end here. We got a bunch of no's. This whole page is basically no's. So Does anybody want to feel one thing should be a yes here? Okay. All right, page.
I have a question
11.
about, I do have a question about E1.
E1. E1, dimensions of the dam impoundment, that's what you're talking about?
No, existing land uses, check all uses that occur on adjoining and near the project site.
E1. Okay. You two.
Isn't there a
Oh,
commercial?
hold on, I see what you mean. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Isn't there a commercial business and a residence there?
There is a commercial business and a residence there. Next to this.
Yeah, it says adjoining or near. That's why I was wondering.
So should that be changed?
Yes,
Kayla, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like the rural check there covers those two aspects, or should we just check them all? What do you think?
I mean, generally with this, adjoining and near, is that property adjoining? I can't,
Yeah.
sorry, I
right next
can't
door,
remember
yeah.
off the top of my head.
very adjoining.
Yeah, I mean, that can be checked. You know, a lot of times they're looking, when they're saying land uses, you know, this is one property that's commercial in that area. It should be checked. I don't think it's anything to hold up the, you know, this process of declaring lead agency. But certainly it can be a comment for, you know, moving forward. But in this case, you know, with this section of Form 1, they're really just looking for major uses in the area, and I wouldn't say commercial is in this area. There is a property right next door. However, majority of the land in the project area is rural, agricultural, obviously forested. So I would say this is a very minor comment that should not, you know, at all hinder the process of today. But definitely will be noted.
Yeah,
So
we
who
can definitely make
changes?
that change. We'll make that
Okay,
change,
okay,
John. That won't be a
thank you.
problem.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, page 10. Let me get to the top of it. Oh, we did page 10. So, all right, on to page 11. That's still continue with 10, the top, and the natural resources on or near the project. We got bedrock on 6.67 feet to bedrock. No outcroppings. Soil types here are listed. Muscalon silly clay loam, 53.1%. Pyrite fine sandy loam is 22.9, and Calura and Pyrite soil is 11%. Depth of the water table is averaged out to 2.46 feet. It's classified, we got well drained, 22%, almost 30, 22.9%, moderately well drained, 11.6, and poorly drained, 6.5% of the site. Slope is between somewhere under 10%, 10% or under, and 100% of the site is that. There's no geologic features on the project site, and surface water. We have wetlands. Adjoining the project site, and then for each identified regulated wetland water body of the project site, following information: federal waters, 6.3 total. Okay, and everything else is a no, and the floodplain is no. Any comments, questions on that?
Does a private pond apply to that? 'Cause I thought I saw there was a private pond in the area.
Anybody
This is
have an answer?
identifying wetlands on the actual parcel site.
Okay. All right, next page, page 12. We've got wildlife, typical St. Lawrence County species: deer, raccoon, deer, mice, coyote, red-tailed hawk. That's what they describe here. So the rest of these are,
I haven't had a time to completely look over this document, but when the first one was turned in, I sent in a document that had a lot of species and some of which, well, a lot more than that anyway. Some of the pictures were actually taken on that property. So just another comparison.
okay. Well, I don't know what to do about that. You want to, do we add those to them? I mean, that's a legitimate comment.
Can
Is
we
that
get
a
a
proper
comment
thing
from
to do?
one of the subject matter experts on that? Because it does say predominant species. So I'm not sure that is meant to be an exhaustive list.
And we have, sorry,
Endangered
I'm
turtles should be one. There's a lot of snapping turtles, blanding turtles, the red ones, the yellow ones, the different turtles that are on there.
That we're not impacting a pond though.
But they're laying their eggs across that area.
They're,
you know,
it's an active.
review this on behalf of the town. You know, we did have a comment on this item, and you know, following the revision, this you know is definitely acceptable for this section. We obviously we don't expect them to name every single species that's out there. That's why we also had, you know, asked them to include the typical St. Lawrence County species. We're really just you know, our main concern obviously with this section is if there's anything threatened or endangered out there as well. You know, part of the site plan application too, we're always looking to recommend fencing that allows, you know, those smaller animals such as turtles to get in and out of the site easily. So we're not, you know, interrupting any of their pathways. So, you know, we do take that into consideration throughout the process. Like I said, this is just meant to flag if there are any major species that may be, you know, crucially, you know, exposed to this project.
And
Okay,
also, talking about the blanding turtles and things like that, I think those are listed. Also in this DEC review, it would pick up any endangered species known in that area. Is that right, Bill? You can confirm on that?
Yeah, correct. The DEC mapper, which is used to prepare this form, did not identify any endangered or threatened species in this area.
Okay, thanks. All right, we've got a bunch of no's here and down to the E3 designated public resources on or near the project site. It's in an ag district, St. Lawrence Ag District is 002. Agricultural lands consisting of highly productive soils present, yes, around 13 acres. And ag and markets is the source of that. And there's no national natural landmark. Okay, so any comments on that? All right, and this is the last page. So we've got the historic places here. That gets a no. And yes, here is 5 miles, the project within 5 miles of officially designated publicly accessible federal, state, or local scenic or aesthetic resource. And the resource is Prairie Mill State Forest, and that's 2.42 miles away. And the rest, and that is it. All right. So a lot of good comments. That was very good. I know that we all appreciate the comments and the back and forth, and it'd be nice to satisfy everybody here. And I hope that that we can resolve this water issue as this thing goes forward. All right, any comments? I didn't give anybody room to make a final comment.
I have one final comment, and maybe Betsy can answer this, whether it's 15 feet or 30 feet with setbacks. That Tim, can that Tim, can I'm sorry. Anyway, that's your thoughts. And that affect Cornell's test scores?
Pam, it's hard to hear you.
Yeah, we can't understand you.
Jim, please, computer. Thank you. With the proposed site plan that is in the works right now, whether it's 16 feet or 30 some feet with setbacks, and we won't even talk about that number, that's Cornell's test plot field. Is that going to impact your farm fields?
I don't know. I will have to take a look at the actual site plan and talk to the farm manager. And find out what's really happening.
Okay.
John, I just would like to have on record that I had several more questions on a lot of these pages, but I guess I just hold them back for later, I guess, that that's not what this is about tonight. So I just want that for the record, that there's many issues yet that I have with this form.
Thank you, Jim. All right, I think, go ahead.
One other thing with the site plan, I believe it still shows the electrical going underground on the Roses. Once again, that's their land. And if they're going to move if they're not taking the access road, the electrical is going to go over and disturb, I don't know what percentage of impact, or what, if any impact, that the electrical feed, the actual service that's underground right now is going through that wetland also. So there are just some other issues that may be there that aren't being addressed based on the site plan that was provided, still showing electrical feed going across Rose's land.
As far as I know, we don't have any proposed electrical services crossing the Roses property any longer. Obviously, the Roses maintain a utility pole. I think that's right in their front yard. That's correct, Zach, right? We moved everything out of and onto ours.
Not the drawings that we got.
Yes, Mike.
Yeah, I would just ask that if we can hold the site plan comments until we get this set that fully addresses all the comments from B&L.
But won't the electrical disturbance, if the road's got to go over and electrical's got to go over, the disturbance to the wetland is going to have an impact, and people need to be aware of that. I mean,
No, it's not, because it's a temporary impact. It's just like digging a pipeline or anything else, a trench. We would dig the trench, install the cable, and then backfill to pre-construction contours and then reseed with a native wetland mix. And it would be a temporary impact in the Corps of Engineers' eyes and in their guidance. So no, there would typically be no impact.
Okay.
Thank you for that. All right, I think it's time to approve this. I believe, Jenny, is that correct?
Sorry, I was muted. I think at this point we would have to, if the board is satisfied with the decisions or the discussion, then we would read the resolution as written. This is just the notice to declare lead agents, notice of intent to declare lead agency. I'm trying to get the wording right.
Right.
And that's the resolution that I'll be reading, and then the
Okay.
board will vote on that. Is that okay?
That sounds like a good deal. Thank you.
Give me just a second to grab that resolution. I put it on here and it's right here. Oops, I have it open already. Okay, do you want me to screen share it as well or just read?
No, can you screen share so everybody can see it? Is that
Absolutely.
possible?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, this is the seeker resolution declaring the intent to be lead agency. Whereas the Town of Canton Planning Board, hereinafter referred to as Planning Board, has reviewed the seeker full environmental assessment form, EAF Part 1, prepared by New York US Light Energy, Canton Mead LLC, hereinafter referred to as applicant, regarding an application for a proposed 7.498 megawatt solar energy farm, hereinafter referred to as action. And Whereas the planning board determines that said action is classified as a type 1 action under the state environmental quality review seeker regulations. And whereas the planning board determines that said action is also subject to review and approval by other involved agencies under seeker regulations. And whereas the planning board determines that it is the most appropriate agency to ensure the coordination of this action and will provide written notifications to involved agencies for the purposes of conducting a coordinated review and making the determination of significance thereon under the seeker regulations. Now, therefore be it resolved that the planning board does hereby declare its intent to be designated as the lead agency for the action. Be it further resolved that the town attorney, the town's consulting engineer, the town clerk, and or a member of the town administrative staff is directed to provide notice hereof to the involved and interested agencies, seeking their agreement or objection thereto in writing on or before noon on December 9th, 2021. The above resolution was, and this is where we vote. So I would need, or John, this is for you to say, but you would need a motion.
Okay, now this December 9th, is that the 30-day?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody understands that this goes out and these interested and involved agencies have 30 days to respond. Either they respond or they don't respond. Okay,
I
so,
have a quick question related to that. I see that it's going to our Farm Bureau Regional Office. Should I bring this up at the Farm Bureau meeting next week to be sure somebody looks at it before the 9th of December?
it's up to you.
Okay. Because it's not going to our local county president or anything.
All right, so I make a motion that we declare ourselves lead agency and send this to the interested and involved parties.
Intent for lead agency, right? John?
Intent, yes, that
It's
word.
very easy to confuse.
I forgot to use that word. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Intent. you
It's
bet.
very confusing.
Yes.
Okay. Jenny, you want to read that again, that motion, please?
So this would be the motion. John Casserly has made a motion to declare the intent to be lead agency for this action as indicated in the above resolution. And John, you need a second at this point.
Second.
Ziggy. Thank you, Ziggy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So now this will go out to the lead, all the interested agencies, and there's another document. Where is it?
Oh, yeah, I can share that one, but I can't do it while she's sharing the other.
This is the, what's it called? Notice of intent to establish a lead agency. And we're going to write, this is a letter we're going to send to all the interested and involved agencies. Can you share that, Betsy? So
I
people can look
shared
at
it.
He is.
Oh, you did? Okay, thanks.
It's
So
up.
just, I'm not going to read it. If anybody wants to read it, I'll give you a few minutes to look at it.
And so we're sending this along with the form to all of the people on the list.
Yes,
Okay.
plus a few more, plus well, we're going to send the part one that we just looked at and a current site plan. And that's at least the minimal things we can send to all these agencies. Kayla, you think we should send anything else?
I think that's good for now.
Okay.
You know, that gives them enough to review and provide their comments.
Okay.
where is the current site plan? Is that in the folder under Mead Road? I don't
Good
remember
question.
seeing the current site plan.
I believe
myself.
it is, but I will make sure that it's posted there tomorrow when I go through everything. If I don't, if it's not there, John, I'll follow up with you to make sure that I have the right file.
Because it would be helpful to me to look at that if I'm gonna figure out what's going on at Extension.
Okay. Great. All
Jenny,
right.
Jenny, while you're doing that, I sent an email reply to Karen and everybody on the board earlier today too, because I was questioning whether we had the correct new site plan. It did show the road going over onto Cornell and through, but it said like the first page, my email states it, but the first page said it was revised 1/21/21, and then different pages said different things. So it was really hard
Right.
to.
It was confusing.
Discrepancies.
So Bill, Mike, and Zach, thank you for being here tonight. If I didn't mention anybody else from Chazen, appreciate your input. It was well received, and I think most of us understood what you were talking about.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you, John.
Yes, appreciate everyone's time tonight, and this step was helpful in moving forward to at least get the other agencies to comment on the project and their position on some of the impacts that were discussed. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right. The next item on the agenda is the Route 11 project, and I believe we're just going to wait for next month. I think the engineers need to do some on-site work, and they're not ready to do anything tonight. I think that's correct. Is any comments on that? All right. So is there any other business before the planning board tonight? Well, I have to say, this is my first meeting that I was the chief cook and bottle washer here, and I had a lot of help, and I appreciate everybody giving me a hand here. And I also appreciate all the comments and the way everybody responded back and forth. That was well done. And I do hope that all of these things can be resolved as we go down the road. Thank you, everybody. Can we have our next meeting will be December 14th, Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Anything else? Can I entertain a motion to end the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you,
A
sir.
second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you, John.
Thank you,
Take
everyone.
care.
Have a great night.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
Enjoy the nice
everyone.
weather.
Have a great night.
Drive
Thank you.
safely. Thanks, Jenny.
You're welcome, John. Oh, no, there you are. You just keep moving. I'll take care of everything and talk to you tomorrow, okay?
I really appreciate your being involved in this tonight.
You're welcome.
You're like the ship that this whole thing is sailing on.
I'm trying to keep it all together.
Well, thank you for your computer skills. They're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Have a great night, John, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay?
Take care, Jenny.
All right. Take care, John. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.